Hello, everyone. It's Miranda Dreyer and Rita Harries on the Cosmic Mama Show today. And I am so excited to bring the world Rita because I like the world needs more of Rita. and Anyway, Rita is a grandmother, a wisdom keeper, a visionary artist, an ethical clothing designer, and definitely check out her clothing line. It's Mudra Clothing. And she also holds retreat space. And I am just so thrilled to bring Rita here today for this show, uh, Portal to Sovereignty. And because I know Rita knows what that means, and I know Rita knows how to get us there. So I want to let Rita just straight away take the floor because she wants to guide us into a little meditative state before we start the conversation.
Hello, beautiful people. It's really beautiful to be here on the Cosmic Mama Show with you, Miranda. It's an honor because I really respect your vision to inspire people's hearts. And so I'm going to begin just to say that we are in strong times. We're all very clear about that. And especially in the Americas, you are going through a huge, huge wake up. And I want to bring attention to where the turbulence is in your body right now, where you're carrying fear and attempting to sort of push that away. Some of you will do that by busying yourselves, some through all sorts of different flavors of avoidance. You know, we all can do this. So, yeah, let's take this moment to ground ourselves and center ourselves. And I would like to invite you to do this. Maybe Miranda, is it possible to spotlight me for this, just to so that I can really touch into your hearts, everyone? Yeah. So, what my recommendation in this way of being able to clear some turbulence and deepen yourself in your center is to take a moment just to feel where your bottom's meeting the ground, like your seat, or if you're sitting on the ground, let's just focus our awareness there for a second and take a deep breath as we open to harmonize with the earth. And in this moment, like to invite you to call in the solar angel that's walked with you from the beginning of time, that's there around you as we take this moment to drop into stillness. As we surrender to this incredible time where all of us are being steered or guided to go deeper within, to listen more to the Creator, to really be able to anchor and deepen our relationship with the Creator. So, to bypass any religious doctrine in this moment, just to know that you are worthy to call upon the one that created you, that is the goodness in everything, that some call the Christ, some just call and see this as the Buddha, Krishna, Babaji, White Eagle, but that one presence that watches and guides, giving us free choice on this earth. Just really grateful that we can begin this moment to strengthen our relationship with this divine presence, so we can return to the recognition of our own divinity. and stilling ourselves so that we can bring our awareness into our heart chakra, this vast chamber, this gateway, connecting into that place of melted surrender so that we can touch the opulence of the Absolute, walking that labyrinth lifetime after lifetime to find the center of this heart so that we can have access to the jewel that the Creator has put deep within of our purpose within the divine plan that's unfolding in this time. So let's just take this moment to strengthen our resolve for a stronger level of intimacy of this gift that we have, to have this body, to have consciousness through this profound vehicle. So opening into the heart of gratitude that in this moment we have a degree of health, and inviting you as that to simply be, to once again bring your awareness down to your base chakra where your seat meets the ground, to calmly feel your nervous system being soothed as you make your alignment to the highest of you, all that you are in the eternal, the highest of high, the holiest of holies. And to put your roots down deeper into the earth, as far as you can go, deep in, until you feel that connection with the Great Mother, her crystal core heartbeat, to open in surrender as she helps to unravel your potency, the sleeping serpent at the base of your spine, as you begin a conscious journey to the crown of your head to meet the divine, the Father, our Father, who is beyond the matrix of duality. So its outpouring is ultimate union, pristine awareness, stainless, never born and never dies. Opening to this alchemy that lays within each of us as we have the courage to let go, getting out of the way, to really unify with the angelic field. To feel the teachings open us, to find our center. Once we access our center, we have access to the center of the galactic source, which is everywhere at once. And to let's just in this moment take a moment to invoke the light of our soul, all of the merit that has been accumulated through every good deed, word and action. All of our good intentions and our selflessness in service. Invoking that light to become the radiant force, bringing the light of tranquility, assisting us, supporting us to become the peacekeepers of this earth at this great time of need. Inviting you to deepen embodiment, to come into your body by really entering that gateway of self-love, self-respect. This is my prayer for you today, our prayer together, so that we can clear the fear, clear that terror of the uncertainty and the unknown, in the remembrance, the divine remembrance, that there is a divine plan that's unfolding. The way that we've been indoctrinated by religions is being dissolved now, so we can have a direct access to the pristine compassion and beauty of the Christ field within. That we can use the power of prayer and mantra to change the frequency of what is in our field of energy. I ask this today in the name of the great ones, in the name of the Christ, the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas, the great rishis that guard this universe through this day and every day to serve the One. Oh.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I wasn't expecting that to just come in like that,
Oh.
but it just felt like that's what had to come
Oh,
through, can I
thank
say?
you so much, Rita. So beautiful. Oh, it's such a beautiful way to start this series.
Hmm.
And, I really just want to have a conversation about the state of the world
Yeah,
and the state of humanity and, this, like what we're moving through, because it really does feel like the pains of birth.
it does.
And
It's
let's just start with, I really want to just start with where you want to start, but what
okay.
I'm feeling is just, the state of humanity, the big three, the things that I told people we're going to be talking about is, we have this history of, we've got sexual trauma, we've got war trauma, we have addiction,
Yes.
we have fear, we have scarcity, we have, these are the shame, the unhealed shame is like this, um, and it's just not, it's no longer the way I see it, working in a locked psychiatric unit is, I always say that's like the microcosm of the planet. And
Yeah.
it really, because these people don't have filter, it's
Yeah.
like it's almost like our shadow of everyone that, it's very forward, but these people are no different. They're just, it's just more visible to the world, or to the onlooker. They're, oh, what are you doing? And it's like other people have these things, they're just hidden, or to a different, on a spectrum. You know what I mean? So I've seen a lot of change, just during this COVID, during what we have going on. We've seen more people coming in having their first ever psychotic break. We've seen more people coming in having their first ever suicide attempt. We're
Mm.
seeing, people are really breaking down, and I feel this rising up of the shame that's been buried, and this suffering that's been buried, and it's saying, I'm not going to let you push me down anymore.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
I just would love to be.
Miranda, I would love to talk about this. So I'm going to just introduce an aspect of myself, which is that back in 92, when I was in that dark shadow place where it was really difficult. I mean, I had gone through a Kundalini burnout that would, I was pretty wacky out there when I was about 18. So I really understand when people get crazy because of the lucidity and, how they get to that place within them. But back in my late 20s, I began a path of study called esoteric psychology, solar philosophy, and ageless wisdom. And it's a wonderful way of seeing life because it takes into consideration all of the different pathways. So from Sufi, Buddhist, Christian, and every way of seeing humanity's spiritual evolution is taught through this path. And so today I'm going to be sharing in relationship to looking at where are we as a race right now, what's going on. I'm going to be talking about it from the context of ageless wisdom and esoteric psychology, because it's basically a very deep understanding that when the Christ came here, it was very much about the purification of the emotional body, okay, as Jesus 2,000 years ago. And the Buddha, who we see to be the same being actually 2,500 years ago, came to establish for humanity that we would be able to, in the future, get to the point to go beyond duality and see through the single eye, which is the eye of revelation, if you like. So it's the ability to witness the good, the true, and the beautiful, and to be able to see outside of the matrix of this samsara, this realm of suffering right now, that you can really see what's going on. So I'm going to be speaking about it from that perspective because I see, as difficult and uncomfortable as things are right now with COVID-19 and the fires burning in California and the toxicity and the Pizzagate scandal and the social dilemma and everything that's going on, as a massive purge, a massive purification, exactly perfect for where we are in our development to bring us as a race to the very first stage of our awakening, even though some people have, of course, advanced that first stage, second stage, and third stage of awakening. But to have the whole of humanity come to this first stage is massive. And this is what is going on right now. We've all had the rug pulled from under our feet. Everybody's having to go in and reflect and make peace with their life, make peace with the Creator. And those that can't, of course, are in the massive turbulence right now. But I'd like to try and explain it like this. In the age of Pisces that we're just coming to the close of now, the highest attainment that we could get was the ability to be very reverent, but it was a period called idealism and devotion. So people were conditioned to be very devotional. And America happens to be what's called a sixth ray personality that has this quality of very devotional. It guruizes and then it rips the person down or the situation down, puts them up and then pulls them down. And in a way, America, which is a very sacred space, by the way, it was hidden in the mists until people were even a bit purer to be able to even go to that amazing place. But in the age of Aquarius, what's coming in now, like what has been coming in for the last 100 years, but really strongly now since 1951, is this energy of what we call the seventh ray that corresponds to the sacral chakra, here, like where the sexual energy is flowing. And that brings a quality called cosmic divine order and ceremonial white magic. And as it hits all humanity here in Sacral Center, this light of the one that they call the Magi or the Christ, as it comes in, we have to come into right relationship with the Creator and the highest of ourselves. Otherwise, it's just like this full purge of everything where we've misused that sexual energy in this lifetime or previous lifetimes.
Mhm.
So this is what's going on. Is like there's an attempt, not an attempt, that's not really the right word. We are being, if you like, overshadowed or activated to make an alignment between our sacral chakra and the throat chakra. So, how interesting, as this light starts to come up, as the throat center starts to turn clockwise, this big purification is coming. And interestingly, all the places that we've ignored our body and chucked down antibiotics and things to suppress, push down, and weaken our immune system, all the pesticides and toxicity that we eat is now like the cause and effect. Humanity's not robust in its immunity. It's a purge of it. And so the way that I see it is that as we go through this next phase where we are going to come into alignment, we are going to come into right relationship, we are as a race going to have to address the atrocities and the violations of all that was not love, of that raping and taking, stealing the light from the children, stealing the energy of another. As you know, it's like as a race we're being moved now to understand what is right action, what does it mean to be in right relationship. And so many beautiful spiritual men, for instance, are feeling like they don't even want to have sex anymore because they feel dirty about it because of the education, the sad, terrible, not even just the word education, I would say violation through pornography, where they can't be present with a woman.
Yeah.
They don't know how to make love. They're shown a different way, and they, like there's a lot of pain in this massive purification. So I really feel for that. But what I do see, Miranda, and the most important thing about this is I see that we've prayed for this transformation. That light is here. It's coming in. It's clearing. It's bringing everything out.
Mhm.
Massive purification. I mean, one of the ways also of looking at this is that how interesting that 20 years ago, as the more that we went into the age of Aquarius, how interesting that these plant medicines from the depth of the Amazonian forest started to make their way all over this earth to every possible place you can imagine to help us to fast track. And that ayahuasca has an extraordinary way of going in, activating the life force energy at the base of the spine and helping to bring the light from the base of the spine to make its journey alchemically all the way up through the heart, all the way up through the centers, like you see the caduceus, the winged serpent, till there's that moment of being able to be present in the now and be in that place of revelation where the brow is open and the trust in the divine plan and the anchored space of just getting out of the way, where you just offer your whole beingness to the creator. Say, I'm here, please use me as a vehicle to be in service, because we recognize there's nowhere more to no nothing more to achieve,
Mhm.
just nowhere to go, but apart from turn back to really uplift other people in humanity at this time.
Wow. Yeah, I see that as like a real like a surrendering that happens to the plan. It's like, okay, I surrender, I surrender. And I see this happening like, like dominoes, more and more. people. And I really feel like the COVID has, you know, pushed that faster. You know, it said faster.
Yeah.
And so I do see that happening. But one of the questions I want to ask you, Rita, is, you know, I know that you know a little bit about my son. Like I've told you about my son.
Yeah.
And I have a son who has, you know, he came in and he has experienced what I would say I would call profound suffering, um, just by way of, you know, he has like a very extreme, severe um, form of Tourette's. And, you know, he was recently at 16 diagnosed with autism, although, you know, it doesn't show up, you know, it's a spectrum. So
Yeah.
people are like, oh, you know, but they just see this ticking, this, you know, and to the point that sometimes he couldn't even sleep at night.
Yeah.
And I'm going to bring him on. He's not here right now, but I'm going to be bringing him on for some of these interviews just to ask a question, because the reason I bring him into this conversation is because he saw this image of, I don't know if you know the image that Alex Gray painted,
Oh
where
yeah.
this man who has all of these chains and he's like carrying, you know,
The
uh,
burden.
the ball and chain, and he, you know, and my son saw that and he said, Mom, that's what Tourette's feels like. That's what. And I asked him, I said, Caden, do you feel like you're doing this work for humanity? And he said, yes. And I mean, I didn't, I don't know if if it was a direct question like that, but I just said, do you feel there's some reason that you're going through this? And he said yes. And so I'm bringing this up because I keep coming back to like the world that we're creating, um, for our children and our grandchildren, and like, you know, the control, you know, we have like these mechanisms of control that we're trying to break free from. And at the same time, I see the parenting has even become more like, we've gotten so afraid of the
Yeah.
world that we've created for our own children that we've become even more, you know, like I need to control more, you know, the route that my child is going to go on. And um, I just I want to bring the youth into this conversation because,
Yeah.
you know, what do you see coming in, and have you heard, you know, about these kids coming in, and I just would love to hear you speak into that.
Okay. Thank you, darling. So I work a lot with young people. I really care about them. I feel like sometimes that, my own inner suffering is that pain of seeing our young people, lots of them losing their way with drugs, for instance. It's huge. There's so many levels of it. But what I see is that in this next, like you said, we are being tightened up. It's like we're all in this massive contraction before the birthing comes. But what is being birthed is a new era. The age of Aquarius is going to be a time of telepathy. We're only at the dawning of it. Think back 2,000 years ago, the people would have never envisaged that at the end of the age of Pisces that there was going to be cars and trains and electric cars and flying aeroplanes.
Yeah.
Nobody could have imagined that. And what's to come is going to be this cosmic divine order and ceremonial white magic. Like your son may be able to heal his electromagnetic field and come into this deep alignment. And maybe, like from previous lives, we all have different levels of karma. Like my mother had polio. I've had so many people leave their bodies from cancer, all of these different things, but each lifetime is an opportunity to polish certain facets. And the only thing we can take from this life is the merit that we've accumulated through our good deeds, words, actions, and selfless service. That gets stored within our chakras. So for me, I feel like working with, for your son, working with etheric healing tools so that you're helping him to heal his etheric field, and very sacred pujas and mantras will actually imbue him with a soothing to calm his nervous system. His nervous system is shot, but it's not just this lifetimes, it's previous lifetimes, and he really needs that support. So that's just the one dynamic for him in particular. But I will show you some sacred tools that really help to set the vortex frequency to bring everything into what's like the golden mean phi ratio spiral that then starts to build an electromagnetic field around him. So I feel that the technology is coming in for healing all sorts of dis-ease and dysfunction on the planet, for number one. And but all of it, even coming back to the people that you work with, like everything, and I know that I language things in a slightly different way, but I do feel it's going to activate certain people to want to research this. All of humanity we're going through this spiritual evolution, and that evolution to bring the healing, because it's not even natural for us to live 70 to 100 years. We're meant to live for much older. We have all been designed so specifically by the Creator. Our body contains 1,000 vortexes called our meridian system. Then we've got the 21 minor chakras and 7 major chakras. And when all the energy is flowing well, because we're living a life of harmlessness and in this outpouring of giving, our energy field is, the disease will go. But as you know, it's uncomfortable because we're coming up from an unawakened society, unawakened humanity, and there's been darkness. And so many people are carrying the karma of sexual violation, all sorts, and to then repair from massive, absolutely massive. So of course we're going to have dis-ease on this planet and dysfunctions on this planet, but one of the things that brings soothing is the recognition that this whole lifetime, think back to, did you used to ever watch Star Trek?
Yes, I loved it.
I used to love Star Trek. So remember the holodeck, that you could program the holodeck and go off. Might feel like years whilst you're in this holodeck, but you can set a whole load of experiences. Well, in a way, I see this life, or all of our lifetimes, as the unreal within the holodeck, giving us the experience within the dream. So basically, in the Vedas, that's in the pre-Hindu system, and within the Tibetan Buddhist system, they actually see this lifetime as one night's dreaming in our soul's evolution. Now, when we really consider that, that's such a deep thing to feel and say. It just brings spaciousness, because it means that there's an eternal part of us that's not moved by the illusion of this dream that you're not going to remember in your next lifetime. Yeah. And it's a massive opportunity each time to become ninja-like, polishing the facets of our, like the diamond, like we look at this as the diamond path, helping us to really become excellent and masterful. So it's like, I love the movie Groundhog Day so much.
I love that movie. It's the best.
I love it so much, because basically it's like, that's what, every morning he wakes up out of his bed, he's in the same day. He's in the same day. Well, that's like life on earth. As in, every lifetime you're back here, there's another level of polishing of the facets of your outer being to reveal the glory, the beauty, and the magnificence of your inner being. So we keep, by the Creator's grace, being given those opportunities, do we walk past the homeless person not giving a shit and actually hating them for being there because they prod a feeling of making us feel guilty,
Hmm.
or how are we in terms of that way that we in America, I know you guys don't do this, but in England people do it. They have a sense of feeling entitled in the rudeness of the way that they might talk to a waiter.
Mm. Oh, well, I'm sure there's people who do it here too.
Well, generally I see people being really well behaved and nice, but the point is, it's like every minute of every day could be like a spiritual tool to help polish us if we see life in that way. How masterful can we be in our graciousness to want to support and assist a person? But let's come back to the children, right? Because they, like all of this, is when we have found our connection to the source of goodness, when we've made our alignment to the central spiritual sun. And so our young people, moment, because so many of them have just gone down that, been sucked into them to be liked, get likes, and that whole taking them out of their authenticity and comparing themselves really strongly. I mean, for all humanity, they compare themselves and judge themselves. But for our young, like the young people I work with, I invite them to come and sit by a fire. Let's pass a talking stick around and give everyone an opportunity to pray for what it is that would help their life to become harmonious, so that we can sit and feel the stars above us, and that we can connect with the earth and connect with our hearts and connect as a tribe around that fire. That really is a really nourishing way for our young. And do you know what, Miranda? It's really blown me away, but more and more young people are coming over the years.
Yeah. I feel that too. I feel like the kids are so they're so much more aware and like mature in other way, in ways
They
that
are.
I wasn't when I was 18 or 16. Or
Yeah,
it's that is amazing to really
that
witness.
is. That's so amazing.
I
But
do.
coming back to your son, just to come back to him in one moment, it's like there's no life that's wasted or accidental. I see everything to be absolutely cause and effect. And for him to have to go into this incarnation in this way, to be very gifted in many ways, but to feel trapped in this burden, this shackled body, it's strong, but it's helping him to develop. It really is, because that's how life is. Like if I think back to some of the crazy dark shadow things that I've had to go through in this life and previous lifetimes, it strengthens us to become more like, have more compassion and more ability to hold.
Yeah.
And for you, he's born in your family with your daughter and your husband, and you know, at the end of the day, he's stretched you open to become vast in your capacity to hold space for others.
That is so true. When I watch him, I really see a reflection of humanity. And but one of the things you brought up was the nervous system. And I had this conversation with Dr. Berselli. He's another person that's coming on the show. And we're talking about how like our nervous systems are so on fire because of the way that we've been living.
Yeah,
And I really do feel concerned, and I do feel like that I can see my son as a gift, and that there can be a gift in all of this, and I definitely do. And I think that he will someday too. It's a little bit difficult right now,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
17. um but I just, I started to recognize these things in, just in, just this is what woke me up because I was living that way, Rita. I ran a business. I ran a spa for about 5 years before I went to nursing school. And my kids were little and I was working 90 hours a week. I thought it was my dream. I was a body worker. I was, doing energy healing. Like, it was my dream. That was my dream. It was the reason why I joined the military was because I thought, well, somebody will give me a business loan because they'll take me seriously if I do, and that was part of my path. And then, I went and I opened this business that I ran for 5 years, and I worked 90 hours. I wasn't taking care of myself. I had employees who were doing massages and skincare and these things, and I was also doing that. I was wearing like 10 hats, and I wasn't even receiving massage myself. I mean, it was a terrible, terrible way to practice, this kind of
Yeah,
work.
yeah,
But I see how it led me. And meanwhile, my kids were little and I come home, sometimes not until 9 o'clock at night. And I finally, and then, my husband and we were fighting and we were, and when finally the economy crashed in 2008, I said, thank you, because this is the way out. I don't want to I was like, I don't want to live like this anymore. I
yeah.
don't want to live like, and I feel like it's too bad that I had to learn that way, that I was like, that was when I discovered I had this wake up. I had this, I do believe I had a full Kundalini awakening in
I bet you did.
2009. Yeah, in 2009. And and my life became like the Towers tarot card is what I call it. Like everything, I lost everything. I almost lost my marriage. I chose to not renew my lease on the business. And then I came back home and I just said, this is when I knew. I said, this is not how we are supposed to be living.
Yeah.
And I've been, now it's been this many years since then, and I feel like more of the world and more people are starting to go, yeah, you know what? I think this is not how we're supposed to be living.
It's the truth. And we've got to simplify.
Yeah.
It's difficult, but we do have to. We have to simplify. I just know that things are getting better. I feel it in every
Mhm.
aspect of my being, but we're going through the purge right now. And when we compare that to birth, when those contractions get strong, you can feel like I can't do this. So for those people that haven't made that time to know what it is to align to the source of creation, to the heart, to come into stillness, to meditate, it's more difficult because they want to continue and then nothing's satisfying. Nothing's going to be satisfying until we can still ourselves and go within. Yeah, yeah. Wow.
So, Rita, I want to ask one more, because
Sure.
we named this series the Sacred Technologies to Rapidly Reconfigure Reality and Materialize New Earth. And well, I believe it's possible. I mean, I didn't make this up. This is my connection to source. This is my opening to source, that it's pouring in, it said do this, you get to do this. And I said, okay. And so, to me that means that this is possible. This is possible for humanity. And I believe it's possible faster than we think it is.
Oh, yeah. It is. Well, the color, I wish I had a picture of the color chakra because I usually keep it in here. I just put it in my sitting room.
Mm.
But basically, I've been really in this deep study, Miranda, for this last few months since COVID about the color chakra. I got grace to go through it last year here in Glastonbury, where I live,
Mm.
when a Vajra master from the Tibetan system, Janang tradition, teaches the Kala chakra. Most people have heard of the Dalai Lama,
Mhm.
but it's not normally you would have to physically go and be taught it or shown it. You'd have to go to the place, but because of COVID,
Mhm.
there's been a lot of online teachings to
Mhm.
do with it, and basically the whole of the color chakra is about the incoming golden age. It's a system of understanding that Shambhala actually really exists. And in Shambhala, there are 960 million cities where the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas who've come to that attainment of recognizing their own Buddha nature, i.e., very simple way to speak about Buddha nature is to have come to the light of inner completion and feeling like, not even feeling, to know that everything's within and that we are divine, stainless, and an outpouring of wisdom and love, and so fulfilled that there's no need for money in this realm of Shambhala. 960 million cities with these Dharma kings who received the teachings of the Dharma, which is basically be harmless,
Mhm.
be kind, loving, and compassionate. Begin to develop your ability to put yourself into another person's shoes before you judge somebody. And
Yes.
actually, to stop judging yourself,
Yes.
to stop putting yourself down on the very basic of level is the starting point of this ability to come home to the divine divinity that we are, which is our Buddha nature. So the Kali chakra is all about showing that within 30 years, what looks to be a massive mess of chaos on the earth right now will be coming into this divine order as we all over this earth begin this enormous wake up process. And the reason that this can happen really literally is because the Buddha, the Christ, Krishna, and all aspects of that line of mastery it's been imbued right from the beginning, from the Elohim walking the ley lines of this earth. There's nothing but sacredness, but unfortunately it is covered by a veil
Yeah.
of satanic dark forces that keep us locked in this matrix, and we've been under the veil, which is why people could get away with all that sexual abuse
Mhm.
for so long.
Yeah.
But because of the light that's coming in, it's all being exposed, it's all being cleared, and it's all being purged, because humanity's sacral center is being turned and activated to go clockwise
Mhm.
so that we can clear all that was not clear within ourselves. We've all got that opportunity.
Yeah. And it's like it's happening. I mean, I feel like, you know, I know that we all have a choice. And, and sometimes that choice is, do I want to keep pushing it down, or do I want to let it do I want to let it rise up? Because, it's not always like you have 50 choices, it's like, are you going to clear? Are you going to keep pushing it down and suffering?
Yeah.
And, I feel like, if we all just choose to like go through this process together, that we can move through it faster. And that's really why I wanted to gather the individuals that I am bringing into this show, because I truly believe that no matter what happens with any election, or what happens with COVID, or what happens with, if this is real or this isn't real, or this, I believe that if we all just are willing to take a look inside and allow what's rising up to rise up, to be felt, to be purged, that and have, I believe we can have mass trauma resolution. And I know there's people who would call me crazy for that, but
Oh no, I agree with you.
it's happening, like the medicines, like you were saying, like, people are starting to become aware of plant medicines, people are becoming aware of breath work, people are becoming,
Yeah.
we're becoming aware of.
There's sacred tools, very powerful sacred tools that heal the etheric field that are there. In fact, my son was telling me recently, like, there's about to be a massive breakthrough with 0 point energy and
Mhm.
things like that, that there's going to be enormous healing, in this age of technology. But there's a lot of people frightened of it in that way that they were frightened of the trains and the cars and the You know, when we're split internally and we haven't done the shadow work of seeing our own shadow,
Mhm.
it's very easy to project it on the other. And so then take it collectively, like Trump trying to project onto China. Now, don't get me wrong, China isn't like the best,
Mm.
but it's that blaming energy. Like the second stage, I talked today about the first stage of wake up, which is the alignment from the sacral center to the throat. The
Mm.
very next stage that happens quite quickly after is the ability to discern, discriminate, and get off the emotional treadmill. The emotional treadmill is where we are in that taking it personally.
Mhm.
Like that's a really big thing because when we take things personally, then we can go into our self-pity, our aloofness, you know, push the people away or whatever the level of control drama where we're actually sucking energy. But in that, we can be in irritation, agitation, couldn't possibly be around our mother or our brother or our, you know, like, or in some power struggle. But it's round and round and round and round on that wheel of what's called samsara, the wheel of illusion.
Mm.
And most people live there. So they're stuck in the matrix. They don't see the
Mhm.
other dimensions,
Mhm.
feel all the rest of what's going on. And so it's all about us really calling in the light of our soul. So that we can really start the purification to calm down the solar plex and bottom line ability to develop the compassion for seeing where people are at without needing to feel it's our job to change them.
Yeah. So true. Yes, so true. It's like, and I try to take that energy to work with me that, like just like the witness, it's so powerful to just witness and allow another person to be who they are without trying to fix them. And because we all get to we all get to come to that place. And I feel like part of that wheel or that treadmill that you're talking about, it can become this fixing and healing, fixing and healing,
Oh,
fixing.
yeah. But then that's like the Messiah complex, really. And
Mm.
that's, you know, people in what's the known New Age at the beginning stages of awakening then get, because their vitality's increased, they've got more intuition, but then they start misusing that energy and then start feeling that they're the tarot reader,
Mm.
you know, predicting somebody's life, and then that takes people off their course. You know, there's a whole lot of mess that happens.
Yes.
But let's just quickly come back to the people that you work with, because I would love to share this inspiration in what you just said, which is that, you know, for all those that ever are watching this, that if you can come to recognize that in your alignment with the highest of high, the holiest of holies, in your alignment with the eternal aspect of your beingness, as you deepen your roots into the earth and feel that strength of this energy that arises, that you can become a blessing power, doing what you just said, Miranda, the ability to just bear witness, but at the same time blessing that person's life. You know, like just even quietly just saying, oh, imagining the Sri Yantra, you know, feeling the vibration of that going around a person just to give them some release of their knotted discomfort, split agony and suffering from the traumas that they've gone through in the other times. You know, that's really because we can be radiatory healers in that way, it through our alignment to radiate healing. And
Mm.
I really feel that you do that, darling. I do. And
Mm.
I really honor the work that you do. And I'm really grateful for how much you've been able to hold
Mm.
in this lifetime. I have massive respect for it, and you're adding to it by doing this show.
Oh, thank you, Rita. I
Mm.
want everybody to be able to see your beautiful artwork because I want people to know that this is your visionary art that you're sitting in front of. So could you let us have a little peek?
I will let you. That's a painting of Saraswati. I wish I could show you more, but maybe if you can put my website, ritahraise.com, then people can see my
Oh,
clothes
yes.
my ethical clothing range and
Yes,
my
tell us,
art.
tell us all the places we can find you, Rita. And they're definitely going to be in the email
Okay.
and on the speaker page as well.
Well, I just wanted to say this, like, I'm just feel so graced that in this life, having gone through like the bottom of the muddy pool and felt suffocated with the suffering of that, I found the root of the lotus and that I could then just somehow come to such beautiful fulfillment. So in between running retreats and holding space for couples or women only or mixed retreats, to really hold space for people to understand these esoteric laws and find their alignment within and go through the pain, go through the healing, go through the purification, like just like have somebody hold you whilst you dare to go and access all of what was not love.
Mm.
um, that I love to, I get my nurturing to myself by painting sacred images of visions that I've had or deities that I feel really connected to. And then my clothes range, it started when my partner died from road traffic accident, many years ago now, 18 years ago. Quite quickly after that, because I was 40 at the time, and or just coming up to 40, and just to put on weight, been eating a lot of cake. I had a cake business, and fourth child. And I've thought I want to create a collection of clothes that's really inspired by color therapy that fits women of all shapes and sizes,
Mm.
and that is breathable and
I
ethically
love your clothes.
produced.
I abs. They are gorgeous. I
Oh,
and
thank you.
so comfortable, and you can move
Oh.
them. And uh,
I'm excited because I've got some new styles coming actually in the next 2 months that of like really elegant for bigger women. So I'm super excited to share those with you.
yeah.
So yeah, but I just feel grateful because, you know, I get so much fun from sharing and wanting to support women to feel really good about themselves in what they wear.
Mm.
And to just paint paintings that are transmissions of to help us to connect more with our own pristine awareness.
Yeah, they are so beautiful.
Thank you.
Rita,
Thank,
everybody's going like I'm definitely going to make sure everybody, and
thank you.
maybe in the email we'll even drop a picture of the Kali chakra so that people can see that.
Oh, please, I would love that.
I think that would.
And I pray that one day I can come on and we can maybe do like a show where it's like a workshop journey taking you on a shamanic journey.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Well, there's definitely going to be more seasons of the Cosmic Mama show. So, yes,
Okay.
yes, Rita, we're that's happening. It's already done. Okay, I love you so much, Rita. Thank
Me
you so
too. Same.
so much. I can't wait to see you again in person and hug you. And I am so excited for the world, more of the world to know who you are. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Okay,
Take care. Aho.
thank you.